You
This
can install.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So like this, what you can do, you can install the virtual box and install one of Ubuntu or CentOS and Red Hat machine, anyone which is favorite for you or which
Mhm.
you are comfortable with. And in that one, you install the Docker commands, right? Docker daemon and use it. Because
Okay.
in the actual real scenario, Docker desktop kind of environment is not required, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So we need to have that kind of habits. Okay. Cool, guys. So let's start now for today's session. And what I would like to cover today is Docker networking. And guys, I didn't got time this week to upload these a couple of documentation which I wanted to upload on the portal. In fact, I have not given to the K21 guys. So this week, once the session is completed today or maybe tomorrow, I will upload all the documentation in one go. So pardon me for that, guys. It is a hectic week. Back-to-back sessions becomes difficult for me. Okay, is that all right? All right. So this is a beautiful concept, guys, called as Docker networking. Uh, yeah, please try to keep yourself mute so that I can focus more. And as last time we have discussed one thing, whenever your question comes in your mind, please put in the chat box. And after 10 minutes of time or 15 minutes of time, once I complete my discussion, I will definitely come back to the point and we'll take questions so that nobody's flow will get missed. And we'll at logical we'll have 5 minutes, 6 minutes break for the question and answer, so that everybody's question will be entertained and everybody should be get satisfied with their answer questions, right? All right.
Ramesh, maybe for
Hmm.
from next session, or maybe you can start from today only. You can fix a time slot. Let's say like 10, 10 a, like 1 hour from now, and second hour, third hour, 5 minutes, as you said, on the
Hmm.
question. So that everyone can know when to expect the answers instead of between the
Right,
session.
right. Yes, absolutely. That is what. No, what comes? 1 hour will be too much because a lot of questions will gather till that time. So what we can do, we can you can put the questions in the chat box. There is no problem. Whenever thought question comes in your mind, type in the chat box. But once I complete one topic, let's say Docker networking, I have one topic, and once I complete the topic, myself I will tell that I will check the questions. I will answer it, and if at all required, I will ask you that please ask the questions. Hmm? So we don't know the topic at what time will get finished. Is that fine?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, guys. So let's please mute yourself and try to get a lot of questions, guys, so that everybody should get. And also uh, um make sure that you talk to me once I give you the chance, please. Thank you. All right, guys. So I have, you know, guys, we have seen a lot of topics, right, in the last session. And what topics we have covered in the last session? If I try to note down, we everybody knows how to. Please mute yourself, guys. Can somebody please take care of that? Yeah, thank you. So we have discussed about the. I think Ayush and Dinesh, please, I request you to please take care of that. In the background, there is a lot of noise coming up. Please mute them. Okay, thank you, guys. By mistake, if somebody unmutes, so please take care of that. Thank you, guys. So in the last week, we have discussed about the topic called as Docker images. We know how to pull the Docker and how to remove the Docker. We have also seen that how to create a container, right? Everybody knows about how to log in into the container, how to create container, how to log in, how to remove, how to delete, right? delete the containers. We have seen this topic. Third, we have also seen about the volumes, and we have discussed about something called as tempfs, temporary mount point. Then we have discussed about something called as mount and bind, mount bind you can say. And third one that we have seen is volume itself. That is a concept. And today we are going to see about the networking. So in that one, we'll see that what is bridge network, local, and there are basically three types are there, and I will try to discuss some more in detail as well. And if we finish this one, then we'll go ahead with the Docker file. So how to create the images, creating images. So basically there are a couple of ways by using you can create an image. First is that saving container. Second one is that Docker file. Right, this we will try to and we will also see that how we can create the import, create the images by using export and import. Okay, we'll do that as well. We'll try to see if we can link the container. Okay, all right. So these are the topics that we are going to discuss today. So what is a networking? So basically, if you see, guys, think about the situation that we have one Docker host here. This is my Docker host. That is one machine. And on the Docker host, you have one container running here. There is another container running here. So this is my actually virtual machine, if you see. Okay, that is nothing, that is called as Docker host machine, on which you have installed the Docker daemon process. That is nothing but it is called as a Docker host machine. It is one of the virtual machine I am using, and I have, let's say, two containers over there. So before creating any container, guys, before creating any container on the Docker host, there is one important entity that is gets created for the networking, is called as the Docker interface. So here you will be able to find out there is a Docker interface. When I say Docker interface is nothing but a Docker LAN card, and its name is Docker 0. I will show you that now. Just now I have just installed one. This is my Docker host. There are no images. Okay, there are no containers running right now. It is a fresh machine install. Okay, and see the LAN cards which are present in this machine, and see the number 7 LAN card here. It shows Docker 0. And what is the IP address of this Docker 0 LAN card? It is 170.17.0.1. This acts as this.
And what?
टीव्ही बंद आहे.
Sir, no, band.
Please mute. Okay, so this is 170.17.0.1. This is basically a LAN card. Can you see here, guys? These LAN cards which you see in my machine, all of them are my virtual machines LAN cards. So in my machine, I have created 4 LAN cards. This is the 4 LAN cards I have. So ignore this LAN card, guys. Right? Don't concentrate on this LAN cards. Only concentrate on this LAN card. This is 7 number LAN card, which is Docker 0. Whenever you install Docker daemon or engine, you say that Docker itself creates one LAN card, and you will be able to see that it has one bridge. So this is called as a Docker 0. It is a bridge basically, and it gets this IP address. This command shows you the brctl show command will help you to see that how many bridges are there. And then what happens actually? So let me explain you the diagrammatically the position of this LAN card, how it looks placed in the Docker host. So you have, this is your Docker 0 LAN card, and it has an IP address called as 170.17.0.1. This is a gateway basically, and this Docker 0 acts as a, there is a Docker 0 called as a bridge is available. So why this bridge is required? So you can think about that. You have one more LAN card inside this host machine. So there will be one LAN card. This is host machine. It can be anything. Let's say ETH0, ETH1, anything. So if anybody would like to talk to the container inside the machine, then what will happen? Somebody will come, will access this LAN card. Then it will go to the Docker bridge. And from this bridge, the movement will happen. Packet will start happening. Okay, now the point here is that how this communication happens. So whenever you create a container, guys, whenever you create a container, this container gets one tap here. This is a network tap. This is called as a tap. Okay, and this is your bridge. So whenever any container want to talk to this outside, or whenever any customer or any person want to talk to this particular container which is there inside this machine, host machine, the traffic will go like this one. It will go to the ETH0. From the ETH0, it will go to the Docker 0. This is a bridge, and from this bridge, it will go to the tap, and then this tap is available inside the container. So there will be LAN card inside this container as well, and this network tap will talk to the container LAN card. Similarly, on the container 2, there will be, whenever you create a container 2, it will get a LAN card. Of course, it will get a LAN card here inside it, which will have IP address. Then there will be one network tap here, right? And this network tap will talk to this bridge. So this is your container 2. So if anybody wants to talk to the container 2, how the traffic will flow from this ETH0. From this ETH0, it will go to the Docker 0 bridge, and from the Docker 0, it will go to the tap, and from the tap, it will go to the LAN. Okay. So if think about one situation that if the container wants to talk to this container wants to talk to this container, then how the communication will flow? This will flow like this one. It will not go outside. It will go from the bridge. It will come to this Docker 0. This will bridge, and from the bridge, it will go to this tap, and from the tap, it will go to the LAN card. So somebody might think that what is a tap? Tap is another network flow, another device which will control your flow when it has to reach to the container. So you can say that is again a software LAN card, which is acting a bridge between this container and this bridge. Okay, so I would like to show you this practically so that you will understand what happens when we create a container, how this tab gets created on the Docker host machine. This network tab doesn't get created. This network tab doesn't get created on the inside the container. It gets created on the Docker host machine, guys. Okay, so now let me show you this, how we get it. Let's say let me go to my okay, Docker PS. I don't have any container. Docker images.
Yeah,
I
Ramesh,
don't
there is
have
a
any.
Sorry to interrupt you. There is a background noise we are hearing from you, I think so.
When I mute, it goes away. Tell me
Yeah,
I'm muted.
yeah. When you're on mute, it goes away. So something.
Some kind of air behind the scene, or that might be kind of a system.
Okay, understood. Understood. One second. Now is it fine?
It could be fans, Ramesh, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's better.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Now
it's
it's
better.
better.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so let's complete this task. Okay, so now let me create a container docker run -it. And before that one, guys, see here IP address show. You don't see any other LAN card here. Is 7 number LAN card is present. Okay, now let me create a container docker run -it -name web1. This is my container name, and I'm just using HTTP image. So now it is pulling the image, and it will start the container quickly. Okay, so let me, I think internet is not on. I have started on this one. Okay, it is downloading, but there is some unable to find out this image it is showing. Okay, so let me try out another one. Oh, I need to log into this registry. Mm, mhm.
So to which registry are you trying to log in? So when you say Docker login, do you have a local registry?
I have, yeah, it is going to the Docker Hub.
Okay.
It looks like there is some internet issue in this my machine. So it is not communicating with this. Let me see if I'm able to ping to the google.com quickly. I will do that, guys. Yeah, it is showing. This is the issue. That's why it is not going out. So let me start the internet connection. There might be some glitch in the. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, it is there. Let me put my DNS over here. 8.8.8.8. Oh, what is sudo hyphen I. I'm inside this one only, and yes, sudo hyphen I. I'm inside the root only. etc result.conf. I'm trying to change something here, and it is not allowing me to change. No worries, guys. In case it doesn't work, I have another machine. I can quickly move to that. It is started now. Ping google.com. Still, it is not pinging. Okay, no issues. Let me check out what is the problem here. Yeah, that is fine. This is also fine. Okay, and I think there should not be problem. Okay, guys. All right, guys. So this is creating some problem. I'll just go ahead and on the different machine quickly. So I don't want to spend time on troubleshooting this one, guys. I will go to I will create a virtual machine here quickly on the AWS. And those who have not seen how to create the virtual machine, doc and install the Docker, they will also learn this one quickly. Just see here. So let me go to the create resource. Yeah, virtual machine. Yes, and add virtual machine. Okay, and this is a resource group. Let me use Docker name as my virtual machine. It is getting created in the Asia Pacific region. Availability zones, it's okay, fine. This I want as Ubuntu. Yeah, we'll use this latest one, that's fine. 2 GB, and I will use a password here. Let's say that password I will use something. Username I'm using here as, let's say, Docker only. And password I will use something called as okay. Public ports, let me allow HTTP, HTTPS for the time being. Next disk, let's networking. So let it be a same. We don't want to change it here. And next management. All right. I don't want to disable. I don't want to boot diagnosis. Okay, cool. Next advanced. And now okay, so it will get created. Once validation is done, it will get created quickly in 2 minutes of time. Okay, let me create this. Yeah, it is creating. So till the time this is creating, let me see if any specific questions are there. So this is a 3 hours test session today, guys. That is for sure. Okay, no problem. Yeah, we can have HPN, we can have multiple bridges. We can create that. We are going to do that. All right. No, that is not possible, Pujita. Okay, and let me see. This is my IP address. What is the purpose of daemon? What is the purpose of daemon? Okay, fine. What is the command to get the E0 and Docker 0 IP address? What was the command for checking Docker 0 and Docker? Okay, fine. So it is just IP address show command. Okay, so this is a public IP address, and I will go here. Let's say I'm going to use putty connection. So it is just basic 30 by default. It takes 30 GB. So 30 GB storage is there. So this is the IP address of my Docker. Let me save this Docker. So every time I don't have to Ubuntu Azure, right? And let me save this. I will save the appearance also, so I don't have to change every time. And let me send the color this in this one, this format. So on the white blue will look good. So my default background is white and foreground I'm using is blue, so that you will get the same stuff. Okay, yes. And now what is my Docker and the password which I have set it. Okay, and here you go, guys. I got the access to the machine. Let me delete this earlier stuff so that it will not disturb us, right? All right, guys. So it is done. I have hosted the machine quickly, guys. You can see here, and you don't have to worry on the net. On the Azure machine, we have internet running. Before the session, I should have checked the internet connection and everything. I forgot to check it. So that That's why this disturbance. But anyway, we have done. I have shown you how to install the virtual machine on the Linux box on the Azure, right? So this is my Docker machine. I need to install the Docker here, right? So how do I do that? This is a Ubuntu machine, right? So when we in the Ubuntu machine, we have the command apt install. And if you want to see the before installation of this one, let's see that there is no Docker 0. Only one LAN card is there. Can you see? Only one LAN card is there. Now if I install the Docker, you will be able to see one more bridge gets clear. You will see here brctl show. Okay, so this brctl command is not there. Brctl stands for show the bridge control command. So I'm installing the bridge now. Bridge utils -y, and it is getting installed. So if you want to see any bridges on your machine, you can easily see this brctl show command, guys. So it will take a couple of seconds to do that, complete that installation. And then we'll install the Docker on this one. So command to install the Docker is apt install Docker. You can also do that, guys. We have seen that one last time. Okay, so it is installed, guys. Now let me install the Docker also, apt install Docker star -y. So it shows that there is no reading package list done. There is no, I think I need to update a little bit. Please mute, friends. Yeah, now let me install this Docker star, and it is getting installed. So anybody want to install a specific version, or the you can definitely, guys, do that one. We have a documentation for that. Here I think you can see in one of the documentation, it is available how to install the your required or any specific version, guys. Okay, so it is getting installed. Till that time, let me see if I have any question I can easily answer. Okay. Yeah, I think in the Ubuntu, this is a good question. How to install Docker specific version? Tulsiram, we can easily do that one. We have documentation for that. Okay, cool, guys. So Docker is installed. I will come back on these questions, guys. Don't worry. Now, so I have got the Docker installed, but make sure that you have to enable the Docker as well. So how do I do that? Systemctl is the command. Enable -- now, and then what is this is Docker daemon, right? So guys, I am using this word daemon again and again. I hope that you know the meaning of that one, but let me explain, let me show you one diagrammatically what is the meaning of daemon, which I have explained many times also, but let me explain you. This is your hard disk. When we install the program, those who are new, let me explain for them. This is a program which I have installed. Let's say any program. If I install HTTP or Docker, or let's say PHP, Python, any program I install, right? You need to bring these programs which are there in the hard drive into RAM. So unless and until this program doesn't come into RAM, they will not function, they will not do the job. So you need to bring this task here. So to bring that task, you have to use command systemctl. So when you use a command systemctl start or enable command to come into the RAM, that programs come into RAM, and then here that program or process which gets started and comes comes into RAM is called as a daemon. It is a process, and it gets a process ID, PID. It's a unique number which it gets, right? So that is called as a daemon. So when I started the Docker, when I installed the Docker here, and then fired this command called as a systemctl enable Docker, this has now in the RAM. If I disable this one, or if I stop the Docker, I stopped the Docker right now. So you will not be able to see this one. So how to check whether the Docker is running or not? You can just use command ps-eaf grep docker, and it shows that there is certain processes are there. Let me disable this again. Systemctl disable -- now docker, and you can see it has removed it. And if I try to execute it, you see that there are very few things are running now. And if I can see here pgrep docker, you will see that only it is showing only one process ID, which is not actually running inside that one, right? So the command to check out, and now when I start the Docker systemctl enable dash hyphen now Docker, what this command does, guys, it's link the symlink to this particular socket service, and as well as it starts it. Now you can check it systemctl status Docker. So this command will help you to understand whether the Docker is running or not. Any process, not only Docker, HTTPD process or any process in the Linux, if you want to check whether it is running or not, you can use this command systemctl status Docker. If you want to stop that process, use this command stop. Right? So it will show that if I check the status command, it will show that it is inactive. And if I start it again, and now you see here, it will show that active. So these are the three commands that you need to guys remember if you want to start any program, if you want to stop any program, if you want to check the status of any program. These are the basic commands that you need to work on. Okay, so now Docker is installed and it is running, it is ready to read, right? The engine is running now. Where is the engine? Engine is inside the RAM. So first of all, we are inside the, now we are discussing about the networking. So I have just installed the Docker. Now see the IP address show. Now see here. Earlier there only one LAN card was there and loopback was there. Now see it has created the Docker 0 interface. And now if you see here brctl show, it shows that Docker 0, right? So this bridge has been created. This is the LAN card you see here, guys. Cool. Now let me create my first container. So as I discussed earlier here in the diagram, so whenever you create a container, it creates one network tab, and this network tab becomes the interface between container and this bridge or LAN card. Okay, so let me show you here. So I was trying.
Can you do that bridge once again for me? Sorry about that. The Docker 0, just missed that one.
Okay, okay, no problem. See, basically, let me explain this again. So this is my host. This is my host actually, and on the host there is a E0 LAN card. Can you see this is a LAN card which is available? This is I'm showing here. This is this LAN card.
Right, which is ETH0.
This is ETH0, correct. And when I install the Docker software, it creates one LAN card along with the bridge, and they name it as a Docker 0. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
now
So it comes with the Docker installation. Once you install the Docker itself, it will create
yes,
the bridge.
Correct, absolutely correct. And now from this one, I have when I create a container 1 or container 2, it will create a network tab. Now see guys how it gets created. So let me docker run -it -name, and I'm giving the name to this as a web1, and let me use the command, let me use the image called as the HTTP.
Ramesh,
Yeah, tell me.
yeah, just when creating container, I have a question. Like when you run
Can
the
you just
Docker run -it -d name web1 HTTPD, and when you use, what is the difference between like when you enter bash and without bash? Both creates
okay,
the bash process, right?
Okay, I request you to please just hold for some time. I will answer that question. Yeah, please. Docker PS. Now see guys, it has started the command container called as Docker PS, correct? Now you see the container is running, right? But what is our interest? Main interest, today's interest is that how it talks to the LAN card, how it talks to the other container. So now the container is created and everybody knows about this command. It is not a big deal, right guys? So now see here, IP address show. I can use this command or I can use IP address show to see the LAN cards in the machine. So it is short form, right? Look at this. It has created this tab and it doesn't have IP address. This is additional tab I got created for it is called as interface 4 here, you can see here. And this is what I was trying to explain you. This is the tab here. This is the tab that I was talking about. Now
Atul, I have a
log
question
in
actually.
inside the,
Can you would you mind please answering that on the Ubuntu actually terminal? I have a question there actually.
I will give you the time. Just give me some time. Let me complete this flow. Sorry, for some time, please. So I want to show you how the LAN card. This is the important task, guys. I will answer all your questions. Please hold for some time. I will give you the chance to ask you. I will not, even though it takes 1 hour more or 2 hours more, don't worry about it, guys. I will answer each and every question of yours. Okay. So now this tab is created, got created, right? Now what is inside the container? So now how to go inside the container to check whether there is any LAN card or not? So because container gets IP address, that is what the principle is. This tab doesn't have IP address. So now let me go inside the container. So I need to find out the name of the container. This is a web one is the name. So how do I go inside it? Docker execute -it. So it is an interactive terminal. I'm giving the name of the container and I need some terminal called as some shell on which I can log in. So I am using a bash. I can use sh, I can use some other shells also, but bash is not. Now guys, see here, I am inside the container. Now how to check inside the container? It shows that command doesn't found. So can I install something called as apt install IP net tools? No. What is the command? If config command is available. If config command is also not there. NMCLI connection show, it is also not there. I need to install the package for the inside the container for specifically for, okay, so let me, thank you very much. If config -utils, if config -utils, yeah, that is apt update. Yeah, this is same thing in the container also, guys, right? Apt update, and then I need to install this one. Yeah, it is working fine. Oh, it is saying it is not available. ipconfig utils not available. It is showing. 1 second.
It's actually the chat says IP, not IS.
You are using if config instead of IP config.
Oh. No, this is not. ipconfig is the command. Just let me take this one, guys.
NetTools works, Ramesh. You can try that.
NetTools works. NetTools is also works very nicely on the CentOS Red Hat. Yeah, cool. Thank you. But if config, I think it will come with the if config command. Yes, it is coming with the information. Thank you. Thank you very much for that help. Okay, so this is ETH0. And this is the LAN card inside the container. And look at this IP address. So whenever you try to inspect the container and you see the IP address of that container, actually that IP address is inside the container. So now see how the flow is happening here. Now the flow is something like this. There is a LAN card inside the container. There is a tab got created. It is interface. And then that tab talks to the, through the bridge, it talks to the Docker LAN card, and then it talks to the E0. If I create one more container, it will create one more tab here. Okay, guys. So now see here, this is showing, this is my container. I hope that you understood now, right? Let me exit from this IP address show. This is only one tab now. Now let me create one more container here. So how do I do that? Docker run. Yeah, this is the command. Let me just use web2 here. Now let me use command IP address show. You got another tab here. This is your Docker 0 LAN card. This is your container 1 tab. This is your container 2 tab. Right? And whenever you get the IP address, that containers inside that container will get the IP address from this range only. They are in the same subnet. Right? So now if you go inside the Docker container, Docker execute, and I am using a web2 container now here inside that, and if I again same thing will be there. So apt update and all that steps. Apt install nettools -y. Yeah, it is done. And now you can use command if config here, if config -a, and you will be able to see this is a LAN card got created. It's 0 inside this. Okay, so we got this bridge. Now, what if you want to have a multiple applications running and you want different subnets for them? Then how we can do that? All right, so you need to create a bridge, another bridge, custom bridge you want to create, because there is a possibility that in your environment 172.17 IP address may not get used. Okay, maybe they are not using for something, it might be used for something else, and you want to use your own network which is available inside your organization. Then you can basically create a custom bridge, different network altogether, different subnet altogether. So how to do that? Okay, I will come back to that one, how to create a custom networks. But before that, if you have any questions, let me see. So we have almost, yeah, I'll go back here. Okay, so Surender was asking, I hope that I have answered all questions here. Okay, cool. So HM was asking, can we have a several bridges, Docker 0, Docker 1? Yes, we are going to create this one in one VM. Can we explain the network flow one more time? I think Abhiram, is it okay? I have explained that. So do you have any question on that specifically? Let me know. Okay, a lot of disturbance has been complete. Why can't we connect directly to, yeah. Why can't we connect directly to container lab card from bees such as Docker 0? We are doing that only, right? Pujita, actually when I am trying to access the container, we're actually accessing from the Docker 0 bridge. Otherwise, there is no chance to go inside the container. Okay. So that is what happening now. We are accessing the container. We are accessing the container from the Docker bridge itself. I hope that is clear, Pujita. Okay. Then Partha was asking, brctl show command is a common for CentOS or Ubuntu. I am running CentOS, have Docker service running. I can see Docker 0 network adapter exist, but when I run brctl, yeah, you need to install that brctl utility, like by using yum install command on the CentOS. It is common everywhere. On Linux and Unix command, I see all the commands are almost common. Hello. What is the purpose of daemon or bridge? Somebody was saying something. You want to ask some question? Okay. What is the purpose of daemon or bridge? I think I have explained you the daemon, right? Daemon is the thing, but when you start process, it comes into RAM, Sumanta, and it then it functions. It is something like that. For that purpose, it is an engine which is running inside the RAM, and then it is ready to serve the request coming from the customers or users or clients. So bridge is something different, right? Bridge is used for connecting the different containers. Okay, so that we have seen it. So basically, if you want to connect two different networks or two different networks, we have to use the bridging. What is the command to get the ETH0 and Docker IP address? I think I have shown you. It is IP address show. What was the command for? Vipasha is asking what was the command for checking Docker 0 or LAN? That is also I have shown you. IP address show. So you creating a single node, right? Yes, I am working on the single node only. Okay, that I think Vinay have explained that diagram again. I have just used 30 GB. That is a default storage which comes along with the Docker. Sorry, on the Azure. Basically, your computer is having good internet connection, but your Docker host VM was not having good internet. Now there is a problem. Yes, Ganendra, you are understood correctly. There was some problem in my Linux machine itself in the VM. So fixing that may take some time. So it didn't fix. So I went to the Azure directly. It might have some small glitch. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, what is this? Ganga is asking. Let's say I have to upgrade Docker engine to new version. Does the existing containers get destroyed? We have to check that because upgradation should not impact it, the container working, right? But it is always safe if it is a development kind of step or if it is a testing, you can take that risk. But in the production, make sure that containers need to be stopped properly and then do the upgradation. Right. I hope that I answered your question. Samara is asking that now itself, please show the network interface. Okay, good. Okay, I have shown that. Now how to install Docker specific version. The documentation is there. I will share the link also if you want. We didn't install the bridge utils before, but it is working. Do we need to install bridge utils specifically? If it is not available, then please install. Okay, all right. If you install Docker, then there is no need to install separate bridge, correct? This is required for the custom networking. So if you have a different networking IP address schema, then default one will not work in your organization, Surinder. So you need to create a different custom network. So even though if you don't want to create a custom, that's fine, it will work. But on the larger site in the production, you should always use the custom network. Isn't bridge install gets installed when we install Docker engine? Yes, it gets installed. Docker 0 bridge basically. Okay. No, I was using that command yum update command, but it got used later on. Link for documentation. Okay, I'll definitely systems is sorry, same as start. Yes, correct. Is service start command. Yes, Dami, correct. Absolutely correct. Yeah, thank you. Do update before. Yeah, thank you. All right. Are they all going to be on same subnet? Yes, Usman. If it is on the same subnet, if there is a 172 network, if you have only one bridge, it will be on the same only one same subnet only. Is that network tab created for each container called as network namespace? Yes, correct, Partha. Right, Partha Sarthi. Right. Gyanandra is asking what is the significance of tab when container has an IP address. See, container itself is a small namespace inside the RAM, right? And when you want to talk to the LAN card, which is there on the host, you need to have some interfaces. Okay, because there are a lot of containers are getting created. So how you separate that on the host? So that segregation is done by using the tapping. Okay, so it is not directly possible. You cannot, because you need to have the interfaces. That is the way structure has been created by the Docker people. How is network tab connected to individual containers, right? So that is something which is a Docker software. Very nicely they have defined inside that, and there are different switching concepts are also used, so that they are used to create the tabs, right, Asus? And Abhiram, network creation is required when using managed KTS, right? That is also there. Basically, this funda of the networking gets carried forward to the Kubernetes as well. So if you understand the networking properly, then normally you will not face any problem in understanding the networking on the Kubernetes cluster. So we will be seeing that in detail when we start the Kubernetes. Okay, so Abhiram is asking what are the security requirements to be taken when creating such network requirements. Of course, you have to think about the ports. That is the only one way we can reach to the containers. There is no other way to reach to the containers. Port is something which need to be taken care. Port security. You can use a Linux for that one. You can use a firewall for that one. You can manage that through that. Okay. Nilesh is asking, so if any route gets created when Docker gets installed, so whatever traffic for 177 range will go through the Docker. Absolutely correct, Nilesh. You have understood it properly. Can you show me output of route -p? Yes, I can show you. Route -p. So this is route -ip. You are asking about the IP route, this command, or maybe you might be asking me this command actually, netstat -rl. Yes, this actually you are asking me something called as you want to see the routing table, right? Yes, Nilesh, because route -p command is not available yet.
Yeah, sorry, it's my mistake. Yeah, but I want to say the route table. Correct. I got your
Yeah,
point. Yeah, thanks.
this one is there. So Anush says that when you say breach LAN card, I reckon they are all pieces of software, right? Everything is software, guys. Everything is software. Yes, Anush, absolutely correct. You deploy two containers command, how to check which network tab belongs to which container, right? So I think this is something interesting. IP address show. Let me check out that. So this is the MAC address, I think. You see here. This MAC address should be inside it because this shows interface 4. This shows interface 6, but it doesn't actually show that whose this tab is, because if you have thousands of containers running, then how you are going to check it? That is what your question, right? I will check this one, guys. This is a good question,
Yes.
actually. Yeah, this is a very good question. Mhm. Okay.
Atul, I asked one question, like just by installing Docker engine, can I get Bridge or Bridge has to be installed separately? I have a little bit confusion there. Actually.
No. When you install Docker package, na, that time it creates a Docker 0 bridge. Okay.
Okay.
You don't have to create it. Yeah. It automatically gets created. Okay. Vinay is asking, will host machine, Docker engine, and containers are on same network? Host machine has a different IP segment.
Okay.
Docker engine is working on the 172.0, and to connect between the host machine and LAN card and the Docker engine bridge. Okay, so Docker engine, there is a bridge is created, and this is what bridge is. Docker 0. There is a Docker 0 is there, and you see here BRCTL show. This is the name of the bridge. Look at this.
Yep. So I have a question here. Actually, in the Docker 0, I see like an INET 172.17.0.1 and the bridge 17.72.55.255, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
No. This one. This is not
yes.
bridge. This is a broadcast.
Okay. I got confused with that actually. Okay.
No. It is a broadcast IP address.
Okay. And
So
Docker
this is your
0.
gateway. Now this bridge is acting as a gateway for the containers to go out of the to flow the traffic outside the machine or come inside the machine. So this is a very important entity. So this becomes a gateway.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
So in given a Docker host, how many of container you create, bridge is the intermediate who helps to communicate to any container from outside client, correct?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
But they all have to come go through that host itself, right? First host and then bridge and then container.
Correct. You understood it correctly.
I think the bridge network is used to connect a different container within a host machine, right? It has nothing to do with the outside world.
No, it will not do with anything outside world. This is what, see here. This particular bridge is not accessible from the outside. Are you getting it? This
Correct.
bridge is not accessible from the outside. So you have to talk to the E0. E0 will talk to the bridge, and bridge will talk to the containers.
So can I have a real life scenario? Suppose what is happening actually on this container, actually my API service is running on C1, and I have a web application wants to talk to this service actually that is running on C1. So now what will be the when I will say, okay, this is the endpoint for my service. In that endpoint, the IP will be of this host or IP will be of this container. Ultimately, definitely it will not be of container. How it will work actually?
Okay, so we are going to host one application and we'll try to access it from the outside. That is what you are looking forward, right?
Yes.
I'll show you that. Just give me some time.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
And Ramesh, also we can, since we are using a bridge network, we can communicate between C1 and C2. So if there is any application C1 which want to speak directly with C2, it can be done via bridge network, right?
Yes, it will be via the bridge. It will directly talk to each other. This container will be able to talk to each other because there is a bridge is there involved. So they come in the same family. They are in the same subnet.
So if but if the request is coming from the outside world, it will come to E0 and from Docker, and Docker will decide which application it needs to call. Correct? Depending upon the port.
It is a port based. Right. It's port based. Correct. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Ramesh, is this Docker zero bridge, is it not acting as a single point of failure? If it goes down, everything goes down, or do we have replicas of it, or do we have some sort of, active and passive sort of bridges in production?
That is what Kubernetes comes into picture. You have to create a cluster. Yeah.
Okay,
otherwise it is single point of failure. Unless you create the teaming. See, this is basically bridge is a bridge is something called as a software defined network, right? But you can have the multiple LAN cards, which are physical LAN cards on the bare metal machine. You can team them. You can make a teaming or bonding of it. So one LAN card fails still, because there won't be any issue at this side at the hardware level. This is all software level. But at the hardware level, if your LAN card gets failed, then everything will get collapsed. So have a teaming, proper teaming, multiple physical LAN cards.
Ramesh, the way to understand this is like when you container want to communicate to another container, it's through bridge and tap. But again, when it is external, it is from the TTH0 to bridge to tap, right? To container, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
So
let me just
beyond this, ETH0, the host IP actually, everything is software. There's nothing hardware inside, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes, because this is a virtual machine altogether. If virtual machine is there, everything is software. There is no hardware at all.
Okay.
Hypervisor has.
Okay. Yeah. So the host is the only host where we are putting the virtual machine is the only hardware, and this card, the LAN card actually. That's it.
Yes, correct. Just guys, I'll take the questions from the message, please, because they have typed it. I need to give them priority. But since you have asked this question, let me tell you this one for everybody's benefit. Guys, this is my virtual box manager. It is a hypervisor. And inside this hypervisor, I have created 10-15 machines. All these are virtual machines. So inside this virtual machine, LAN cards are there, hard disk is there, okay, CPU is there, RAM is there, everything is software defined. Inside this VM, nothing is a physical. But this particular, there is a virtual box which has all the drivers, which will make a communication between the virtual machine CPU with the physical CPU. So virtual box is a very important, or for that matter, hypervisor is a very important entity here in the virtualization. So if you want to understand how the networking, how the software entity talks to the hardware entity, make sure that you understand the hypervisor in detail. Then you will be able to understand that. Okay. Now, okay. Now, so let me finish this, guys, quickly, this question. Then I will take your questions as well. Yeah, Vinay, I have insert Abhiram, how to monitor the network routes to troubleshoot. Yeah, that is the command. You can use netshot-rn, IP route. That commands will help you to solve that. Can you please show commands to install? Okay, fine. So Surinder, we have just used the command ap install nettools-y. So that command I will show you. Shravan, will this setup cause any latency communication between two containers? No, that is the standard way they have used it. Kavita is asking, if we have multiple containers and multiple IP segments, then can we use multiple bridges? Yes, absolutely, Kavita. You are correct. Yes, HM, that is sure. Note Docker network ls command will show the bridges, and I'm going to show you. I have not created the custom bridge yet. I am just explaining the bridging concept. Can you please be a bit slow while executing? Okay, Sainath, I will take care of that.
No, sorry, Ramesh. It is not for custom network. It's just when you show the Docker 0, there is another command, Docker network ls, which show you that there is a bridge. A bridge host known. This bridge, this is in the view of Docker, but this is the same Docker 0 or other thing.
Same
I don't know
Docker
if you
0.
understand my question. There is two view. There is the view of Docker, and there is a view of Linux or other CentOS or other software. It means that for Linux, Docker is a process. For here, for example, we do Docker network ls. We have a bridge. This bridge, is it the Docker 0 you talk about before?
Yeah. See, this Docker 0 bridge which gets created is absolutely Linux process. You are what you are asking, your question is correct. It creates a bridge from the Linux point of view, from the host point of view. But that gets created automatically when we install the Docker. You can customizely create a bridge also, in case you want to create.
Yeah, I'm not talking about customization, but just because I know this command, but what is the difference between this command and the command you write before to show the IP A and S? They show you Docker 0. This is the I want to know if we are talking about the same bridge or there is another bridge.
This one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
See, this basically is the LAN card, okay, which gets the IP address called as a 172.17.06. It acts as a gateway. In another word, you can say that this Docker 0 bridge has been assigned with the IP address as a gateway. So this is a bridge which is shown by using a command IP address show, which is shown by using command brctl show, which is shown by the command called as the IP address show. Both of the things are same. All three of them are same. Only this IP address show command will show you the IP address of the bridge, which acts as a gateway between the containers and host machine. Yeah, I hope that Hicham is clear. Is that clear, Hicham?
This is the same. Docker 0 and the bridge, this is the same.
Yes.
That's what's my...
Yes, your understanding is absolutely correct.
Okay. Thanks.
And another important thing is this what the bridge is created. Now it is created by using the Linux commands only. when we install the Docker, it creates the bridge by using Linux commands only. Okay.
Ramesh, I think the Docker network is might be showing the internals of the Docker because like if you go up, I don't see any relevant information on IPAS and bridgectl show or Docker network ls. I don't see any common ID or anything. So how we are saying that the information what we are getting on bridge controls show or IPS and Docker network ls are showing the same information.
Just hold for some time. You will get this information. Just hold
Okay.
for some time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sainath is asking something about the. Can you please be bit slow? Okay, I will definitely do that one. Pramod, you have installed NetTools package inside the container, which will be lost after. Yes, correct. It will be lost. But if you want to make it a part of the image, when we'll do the Docker installation command, Docker file creation, that time I will show you, Pramod. How to find the Docker IP address. Okay, that is a Docker inspect command. Tushar, if you want to find out the IP address of any specific container, you can use command inspect web1 pipegrep -i IP address. I think I have shown you this one. You can follow the documentation also, you will get that one. But this is the command which is used. Deba is asking, is the main purpose of installing Bridge software on Linux is to establish communication between Linux interface and Docker interface? Absolutely correct. Can you give example when is required to communicate between containers? Okay. You can have one container as a front-end container, another container as a back-end container. That time will require these containers to communicate with each other. If E0 and Docker 0 have different IPs, how communication will happen? No, then it will not happen. You have to have the same in the same subnet, otherwise it will not. Is there any recorded session on hypervisor? I need to check it. Okay, Anuj asking, how does C1 communicate to C2? Is it via C1 network tap to the C2 network tap, or is it via bridge? It's via bridge Docker 0. So there should be some switching between that one, otherwise it will not talk to each other. Even in the normal scenario also, if you have two laptops connected with one switch, and if that laptop want to talk to another, there should be some basic communication, and that is done by using bridge communication. Yes, I am going to create right now. Asus is asking, by default, the container IPs are always the class B with the same series, irrespective of any host IP address. Yes, correct. That is true. Okay, guys. So let's create our custom bridge now. How to create a custom bridge? Docker network ls. You can see these are the this is the bridge which you see here, whose ID is B7501DFH64. Now I am going to create another bridge, Linux bridge, you can say, by using a Docker command. Docker network create. What do you want to create? You want to create a driver. We want to use a driver called as bridge, right? And want to use a subnet called as, I want to use my favorite subnet called as 11.11.0.0/24. Okay, so when this particular driver or bridge which we are going to create, it will use this subnet, okay, to assign the IP addresses to the containers we are using whenever we're going to use this network. So now, and I need to give the name to this one. Let's say this is my net1. Okay, now it has created the network. If I use the command docker network ls, can you see it has created a bridge called as a mynet1 who has this network ID. What brctl show command will show me? Look at this. I'm so sorry. brctl show. Can you see it is showing me A2E823B DB3517 and this ID is same. Okay, so whenever I am creating a bridge or this network bridge called as a mynet1, using this command, whatever the bridge it is getting created here, it has the same ID. Now, let me fire a command IP address show. It has created the new bridge. Its ID is also same. And look at this, it has got this IP address, which I have given. Okay, guys. Now, if you have any question, you can ask, because this is the important thing that we have done right now. If at all you have any question, please ask me.
So Atul, my question first. Sorry.
My name
Like,
is Ramesh.
when.
My name is Ramesh.
Oh, sorry, Ramesh. So Ramesh,
Yeah.
my question is actually, like, when you create the custom bridge, actually, what happened to the default bridge? Is
It is
that
there.
destroyed? No,
It is
but
there.
okay, show me that.
BRCTL show.
Yeah.
This is Docker 0, and it has
Okay,
two
that is the
tabs here.
default. Okay, that is the default.
Yeah, it is there.
Okay, and these two are the, I think these interfaces are nothing but those two containers. No. What are these interfaces?
Yeah. These two are the tabs of the two containers.
Okay, tabs of the two containers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ramesh, at this stage, we just created the custom bridge, but we have not associated that with
Any container.
any container or the question is, from the time it is created, is there a step to associate for future provisioning of containers? Can I have containers that use default Docker 0 and containers that use my custom bridge?
No, so then you have to write your own schema or script for that one, if you want to do that one. Okay, so whenever you are firing the command, or when you are using the compose command, or whenever you are creating an image, that time you can specify in the Docker file that use this network, use that network.
Gotcha. But the fact that now the custom bridge is created, can we safely assume that all containers by default will take the custom bridge against the default bridge?
No, unless and until and explicitly you need to define that use this network.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so
containers will be created dynamically, right? When we deploy the image. So how we will decide, how we will define that this container should take custom bridge actually.
Hold, that is what I am going to show now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ramesh, just back to that. Sorry, is there any way, any scenario where we can use both bridge and custom network?
If you want to use two different networks, that time it will be used.
Suppose there are 4 container. I want to use bridge for C1 and C2 and custom for C2 to C3. It means just want to check, is there any scenario where we can use it, or it's just like
application isolation.
Okay, application isolation. Okay.
Okay. The containers on one bridge will not talk to the containers on another bridge. Okay.
At all, we talk to another.
So I have two bridge right here. Show BRCTL show. Now the container we are going to create on this bridge will not talk to the container which are available on this bridge.
So not at all they can talk, or as of now they will not talk, but there is way to get them connected.
So then we have to add another network layers, right, guys? But in this particular scenario, in the Docker scenario, as per my experience, it is not possible.
Okay. So by default, it is not possible.
Yeah, by default, it is not possible.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let me now show you how to assign the custom network to the container. So it is simple command, guys. Docker run -it -d. What do you want to do? You have to give the name to the container. Let's say I'm giving the name to the container as a net1. Okay, and I have to use network now. Which network is there? My net one. This is the name of the network which I have created. Do you remember that, guys? When I fired this command, not docker network ls, I have used the command called as a my net one here. See, okay. So this is giving. I'm giving here this my net one, and then I want to give the IP address hyphen IP. I can use this now custom IP address also, which I like most. I can use this. If you are using a default bridge, this is the, you cannot assign the custom IP address, guys. But if you are using a custom bridge, you can assign a custom IP address. Okay. I can use the host name also if I want to give the host name to this machine. This is something called as network.server.com. This is the host name I want to set up inside the container. I can do that, guys. If you want to set up the DNS, you can set up the DNS. Let's say you want to set up the DNS called as 8.8.8.8. So whenever you create a DNS, it will automatically go and sit inside the result.conf file. It is a file where you store the container, right? So let me use equal to, so I think it should work. Let me check out. And then finally, you want to use image, right, to create it. So let me use an image called as HTTPD. Hope it will work. So it is showing. Anyway, you don't have to give the subnet specifically if you want to assign, because we have already defined the subnet for this one, right? But if you want to use, then you can use something called as --net mask. Let me
Can
take
we
out
give
this.
/32 there instead of the /24?
No, this is not picking up.
Yeah, it's not picking up the subnet range. Understood. Okay.
The IP address you're using, do you already aware that they are existing, or you just create it from atmosphere? I don't know.
No, it is. I just created right now. I have used the this command. You see, this is a subnet I have used, right?
Yeah, but how? Where did you just create? You also created this subnet from air, or you already know that it's already an existing subnet
No,
somewhere, or how did you get this value of subnet?
you are talking about this, right? Subnet, right? This one.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
I have taken it randomly. Anything.
Okay, so that means I can generate it a subnet randomly as well.
No. Yeah, you can. Then if you don't specify, then mine. If you don't specify the subnet, it will take automatic by default, randomly.
Okay.
But it is always better if you use a subnet, because then that is the whole purpose of the creating this bridge, custom bridge. Yes, let me try out.
Ramesh, how many container we can attach to the bridge, and why we need to add another bridge?
Okay, let me show you guys 1 second. I'll just give you the answer of that question. Yeah, the question of this. Just HM 1 minute. I just got stuck here. Okay, 1 second. Now.
Yes, thank you, yes.
Okay, I'll just clear the screen because a lot of wrong commands has been fired. Okay, the right command is this one, guys. This one, correct? So please, if you want to create a container with your custom IP address, you can use this one. All right, so please mute guys yourself. Now, so Hicham, you asked me the question. I answered already, but let me answer you this again. If I want to create a create a different isolation application, that I can create a different bridge, and on the top of that bridge, it will talk. There will be two containers. So these two containers will talk to each other, but they will not talk to. They will not be able to approach here. So there is a complete isolation, right? That's why we can create a isolated bridge. You can create a different bridge. That is the purpose of it. And how many IP addresses we can assign to the or how many containers we can create in one bridge, depends on the subnet mask which you are using. Now I have used this subnet mask while creating the network. What is that? /24. This is the command I have used to create the bridge. So it shows that there is a /24. So answer of your question is that we can create 254 containers on this bridge, and we can attach that many number of containers on this bridge because it supports 254 IP addresses. 256, but 256 minus 2. That is, one is for network IP and one is for the broadcast IP address. All right, and so answer to this question is that how many containers we can attach, it depends on what is the subnet mask you are using. Is that clear, Hisham?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, guys, so these are the commands. Now
For installation part.
So, Ramesh, looking at the subnet mask, you said that it will be 256, right?
/24 is, what is /24? It is 255.255.255.0. There are 8 zeros. Perfect. These are the 8 ones. These are the 8 ones. These are the 8 ones. These are the 8 zeros. How many hosts we can create with the help of this subnet mask depend on number of zeros. So how many zeros are there, guys? If you convert it into binary, there are 8 zeros. So if you want to calculate, you have to use 2 raised to 8. That is 256. Out of that, first IP address is called as the network IP address, and last IP address is called as the broadcast IP address. So you have to deduct 2 IP addresses from that. 256 minus 2, that becomes 254. So if anybody is using this subnet mask, guys, that means you can attach or you can have 254 machines in one subnet. Just to make you understand with one more example, let's say this is my /20 network, or let's say 23 network. What is the subnet mask of it? It is 255.255.254.0. How many zeros are there? So total number of bits are 32 minus 9. So there are 9 zeros. So it is 2 raised to 9. I'm just taking it little bit off the track, guys, but this, if those who don't know about this one, it will be useful.
It's
So 2 raised to
512.
9 is 512. Then 512 minus 2, you can use 510 machines in one subnet. So if you are using the /23 network, that means you can have 510 containers attached to that bridge. Is the understanding clear to every one of you?
Yeah. No, mostly we were using 172.16.0 segment 0.1, right? In that, how many hosts we can create?
I think they have used /16 network.
Okay.
Now you tell me.
It's 65,300.
Yeah, correct, correct, absolutely correct. Now you understood it correct. So how many zeros are there? 16 zeros. So that is 2 raised to 16. That is 65,536 minus 2. It is equal to 65,534. That is the answer of this question. So you can have these many containers attached to the bridge if you are using /16.
Okay. Okay. In this case, if we have a back end, it's a different network, and front end is a different network, right?
Different bridge you are saying, right?
Or completely a different network, right? Because it is not going to talk each other without bridge, right?
Right, correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
can
it
you
will
give
not.
me some
That is the basic
example on
thing.
that?
Huh? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you give me some example on that, please?
We are going to create one application, guys, front end application and back end, and I will show you how to connect that. I think that time I will be able to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
That is your question. Okay.
Ramesh,
Okay, guys. So,
Ramesh, one thing to understand is like if I want to isolate a container, then put it in the different bridge. When I don't want to isolate, put it in one. If I'm putting in same bridge, I cannot isolate it. That's a basic concept, correct?
correct. So that's why there is a lot of things are happening on the Kubernetes, guys. So container Docker itself cannot manage their containers. They need some orchestration tool. And a lot of questions you are getting right now that how I can manage it, what will happen if my container dies, how I can achieve high availability. A lot of questions comes in mind, right? And all that answers are there in the Kubernetes or Docker Swarm for that purpose. Okay, guys. So let's move now ahead.
Ramesh, just one question.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask? Okay.
Yeah,
In
now
your
ask.
command, yeah. In your command, you have given hyphen DNS parameter. So where the DNS entries goes in Docker etc result.conf, in that file that entry goes, or where?
Yes. Inside the Docker containers result.conf file.
But I don't think so. Can you show me that? Because
Sure,
at the
sure.
same time I am performing this practice, I'm not able to see that.
Okay, let me see. Let me see.
Yeah.
This is net one we have created, right? Docker execute hyphen it. What is the name of the container? Net one, right?
Yeah.
And
Bash.
bash cat etc resolve.conf. Mm,
You have to remove the bash. You have to remove the bash. I think.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. And the two commands.
It is not showing here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what my question is.
It should actually. That's fine. Okay, let me go inside the container now. Docker execute hyphen it. It is not picking up. Okay, I think it is not picking up that. But it is not
Okay.
giving error also. Yeah, no problem. I got it. I got your question. Thank you. Now, guys, let's move ahead.
Ramesh, one question.
Mhm.
So we are saying that whatever the bridge is assigning to the new container. So
Mhm.
can we assign the bridge to the existing container?
No, you have to
Okay.
stop it. You have to stop, or you have to, if you have manifest, then we can change it. You need to die that container, and then you can create a container with the same image.
So we need to kill that container and we need to get the new container with the networking.
Right, right.
Okay,
So I can have
good.
only one bridge for the container, right? Set of container, or right?
Set up containers. One bridge can be there. Yes.
Not more than that.
No, no, no. We have discussed now how many containers we can have for one subnet. We have discussed about this.
No, my question was only bridge, number of bridge.
You can create multiple bridges.
We can
I
create
just
multiple
show.
in one same network.
No, no, no. Let's say that I want to create a network, another network, my net2, and I want to use 31.11. This is my net2. It got created. My
So this is the
net3.
bridge, right? This is the bridge that you're creating.
Yes, yes, yes. 192.
Okay.
I want to create something called as 200. Oh, sorry,
So we
mine
can
it.
create as many as bridges we want.
Right. Okay. If you want to change this network, you change it slash, make it slash 16, make it slash 17, whatever you want to do, you can do it, guys, here. I want to use this as, let's say, my favorite number called as 100.100.100. Oh, mine at 5.
Ramesh, for one subnet, there can be only one bridge, right?
Yeah, I cannot use multiple this one. That will give the error if I try to use that. Multiple
Yeah.
subnets.
So Ramesh, my question is that so far whatever exercise or lab we are doing like through this command line, I can say. Okay. But in real world, actually, when we deploy any application, it has a Docker file, right? So it has so how and we are not going to do manually container creation and deploying the application like this. It all will be done through the pipeline and all those using Dockerfile, right? To container creation and all those things. So all this configuration should be part of that Dockerfile, that which like creation of the bridge and all those things will happen, right?
Okay, correct.
This is my question.
Yes, yes. You have to use, if it is a large network. See, this networking part or this particular creating a bridge or couple of bridge, everything is done once. And once you
Okay,
create that
admin, by
bridge,
admin, by admin.
administration.
Okay,
And
okay.
once you do that one, then you have to use that into the Docker file.
Okay, I got it. I got it. So this is the from the admin perspective, but as a developer, actually, when somebody wants to deploy their application, they in the Docker file they have to specify with the bridge and all those things, right?
Right. They have to specify which IP address they want, which network they want.
Okay,
Right. So for that purpose, it is very important to all the developers should have an understanding of this one.
Yeah. So does how the developer will know what are the ports available, what are the for my for the bridge and all those things?
If he has access to the root, he can find out. Otherwise, the administrator need to give the information that use this port and use that subnet
Okay,
and everything.
okay for your application.
Correct.
Okay.
If normally developers will not have a root access. If they have, they can see. Otherwise, not.
Okay.
Okay, Ramesh.
All right, guys. Now I think we need to stop it here now, because a lot of questions have come, and I'm thankful for the questions.
I think Ramesh, we typed certain things in chat which is not addressed, and you are just taking a call. So either we should stick to that one, or we should, because like I typed something and I was waiting for that, and I didn't see the answer, and then I have to speak out because otherwise it will be gone, isn't it? Or you should say we want to type into the chatting so that like we all just follow the chatting. I'm fine with either things. See, look at like I typed, if you go back, I typed that there is a, because we discussed some time ago that the subnet, the limitation of the number of containers and the host is 256. Okay. So here we are talking about various subnets which gives us the option to create up to 65,536. Okay. So based on the limitation on the host, it looks like we may never be able to go beyond the subnet of 255, 255, 255.0, isn't it? That's what it looks like, because like that is the limitation which is sitting on the host.
You are correct. There will be problem with the resources and everything. Yes.
Yeah, I understand your problem because, but like we should stick to one of them. Like okay, if you say like at these 10 minutes people talk, I'm fine with that. If you say like at 10 minutes people just type it in the chat, that is also fine. But over the time we are losing those chat questions.
Yeah, understood. I understood. I try to answer many things, guys,
No,
but
no,
don't
I
mind
agree.
don't mind to speak to me in case if I miss any question in the chat box. So normally I am going with the every chat right now when you are typing, and then I have taken the questions. But once I completed the custom creating the network bridge, that time I ask everybody if you have any questions you can ask. So if I have missed anything, please, okay, I will take that one, guys. You can speak and you talk to me, no problem. So Tulsiram has asked me a lot of questions. Docker network attached. Okay, that is one of the way you can attach the network to the running container.
Ramesh, one small suggestion. If we are going to take question and answer session, probably we can keep at least like 15, 20 minutes aside, and then we need to at that time. That way it will be easy.
Okay, but I will take these questions one. Don't worry about it. Tulsiram, I will come back to that one. Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys. Now it is what we'll do now. We have already crossed 90 minutes, right, of time of the session, and I want to give you a break, but not more than 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine for me.
Yeah. So please give the break of the 10 minutes and come back immediately in the 10 minutes, guys. We'll take it for the topic because we want to touch base to the Docker files today. Is that okay? All right.
Can you ask question during break?
Yeah, I'm available. No problem.
Okay. Because I don't have networking background actually, so I have some questions. Okay.
Yes, please ask.
So okay, so
guys, you can take a break. Ayush, can you just put this screen, the 10-minute screen over there, so that you can ask the question? Yeah, so that everybody will understand. You can go on the break, guys. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to ask question, you ask. No problem.
Okay. So my question is actually first, as you said, that if a developer has access to the root, right, he can see what are the available IPs, correct? So that they can their application will be running on that particular IP and they can specify that on the Docker file, correct?
Correct.
So how to see those IPs actually? What are the available IP?
Okay.
If I have access to the root, how to see those list of IPs actually that are available on that I say Docker actually, because Docker engine or virtual machine, whatever I can say.
No,
how
that is not the see actually if you create 100
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, please don't disturb me for next at least 30 minutes of time. You can put the question in the chat box. Let me mark here something else so that strictly nobody will ask question. Strictly, please. So questions. So I'm just typing here a line so that from this line new questions will come. So I will pick up the new questions from this one. So nobody will miss. I will not miss anybody's question. Okay. Thank you. I hope that there is no
Ramesh,
background noise. Yeah.
No question here. I don't know whether you have plugged your laptop. It was running low on battery.
No, I just plugged in.
Okay.
It's running fine now. Thank you. Thank you for that information. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's start. So I have created a lot of networks here, and we can delete that also. So by using command, so Docker network prune. So this command will delete all the unwanted or unused networks. So it has deleted all unwanted networks now. Okay, so this I have now my network because it is showing it is already used by a couple of containers. That's why it is not got deleted. So all used containers will not get deleted. All used, if you are using the network, then that network will not get deleted. Now, let's say that I have one application running in the container. What is my application? Let's say this is my container name web1, and I want to find out the IP address of this one. Docker network inspect. This is the command I will use. Pipe web1 pipe grep -i IP address. So this is the IP address, right? 172.7.0.2. Now, how do I access the contents of this one? So guys, we have seen this last time also, how we can access it. This is a curl command. Okay, cool. Now, how do I access this particular website from my laptop? Let's say that I want to access it from my Google Chrome. How do I access it? If you want to access the information about or website which is running inside the container from your laptop, because this machine is running on the cloud. So everybody should be able to access this data. I want to make this website accessible by you all. So how to do this? The IP address of this one is 170.17.0.2. Docker has the gateway has the IP address called as 172 network. Then IP address of the host machine is in the different range. How to communicate with the container? So let me show you that diagrammatically. How do we do that? This is important to understand, guys. So this is my host. Right, and inside this host I have this my LAN card, and this LAN card is called as ETH0. This is my host LAN card. This is my host machine. Now when I install the Docker, it will install one bridge also here. So this is called as a bridge. This is my Docker 0. And then we will have container running here. We'll have container running here. We'll have container running here. Application which is hosted inside the container is running on port number 80. Application, let's say this is a Tomcat or some other application running on the port number 8080. Or maybe this is also running another Nginx website is running on the port number 80. Okay. And now the IP address of this machine is container is 170.17.0.2. This is something called as 172.17.0.3. This is called as 172.17.0.4. Whenever we are firing a command from the host machine, that is, I am using the command curl 170.17.0.2, this communication is happening because from this one, how the request is going, it is going to the Docker 0. From the Docker 0, it is going to the tab, and it is then going inside the container. Similarly for this one, similarly for this one. But consider that if you have over here, your laptop is here, okay, and now you want to access this one. Now you are able to access the requirement is that from this laptop, the IP address of this ETH0 or host machine should be accessible. That is the requirement. So if you are able to access the LAN card of this machine, of this Docker host, or IP address of this ETH0 Docker host, then how you can access the container port inside that one, or how you can access the website which is running inside the container. So it is based on the port numbers. So what you need to do, you have to map the container port with LAN card port. So consider this is your LAN card port and this is your container port. You need to map these ports. Right? So how do we do that? This is nothing but it is called as, so let's say that I want to map port number 80 of this container with the port number 80 of the host machine. So whenever I type from this laptop, let's say IP address of this one is something called as 10.10.0.1. I'm just taking any example, guys. Then we have to type the port number of this LAN card, 80 number LAN card. So when you type the IP address of Docker host machine colon the port number which is mapped to the container, if you type that port number, then you will be able to fetch the data from this container. Another example, that this is my another port number. Let's say this is running on the port number 8080. What I can do, I can map this port with this one. I can map this port with this port. So let's say this, I would like to map this on port called as 9090. So whenever you type the IP address of this LAN card, whenever you type the IP address of this LAN card 10.10.0.1 colon 9090 port, then the traffic will go from this one to this LAN card, but it will be directed to the 9090. Then this 9090 will forward this traffic to the port number 8080 of this particular LAN card. So to fetch the information from the container, you have to use port mapping. So this uses the concept of port forwarding. This is IP table concept. It is a port forwarding is used. So data will be forwarded from one port of the LAN card to the another port of the container to the port of the container to fetch the data. Now I want to show you this, guys. So I am going to create one container and I'm going to map the port number of the container with the host port. And everyone will try to access this from the outside. Let's see that whether it works or not. So let me go back to my machine. And now let me create a container called as docker run -it -d -name. Let's say that I'm creating a container called as net11. Right now you have to use a port number here. So first of all, you need to give the port number of your host. Let's say that I would like to use 9090. This is my host port. This is my host port, this one. Colon, right hand side, I have to use container port. So let me use port number 80 because HTTP is running on the port number 80. And let me use Nginx. Okay. Oh, Nginx is not pulled up, so it is pulling up now, guys. So now okay, so it is created the container, right? Now see Docker PS. Can you see this container net11? It shows that the traffic which is coming on the port number 9090 is directed inside the container port 80. That is what precisely I have written here, 9090 colon port 80. So now I want to access the data from the container, so I can use 9090 port number. So what I'm going to do now, I will see the IP address of my container, sorry, IP address of this machine. This is the IP address. Let me copy this and go to the browser, put this IP address colon 9090. Will it work, guys? No. The reason is that port number, we have not opened the port. So now I need to go to the Azure again. 1 second, guys. Let me go to the security group. So this is my virtual machine. Firewall is blocking, that's why it is not working. So I'm just opening the firewall on the Azure. Networking, yeah. You can see here in the networking. Okay, so these are the ports used, 300, 320, this many ports has been opened, but only 22 and 80 is opened, right? No other port is open. So let me add inbound rule. Source is any, from any port range, destination is any, and I would like to use star here. So star, nothing but from any port to any port, this rule work, right? So on this virtual machine, this particular rule will allow all the traffic to reach to the any port. So let me add, this is not secure at all, but this is a test machine, training machine, I can use it. I can take that risk, but in the production, don't do that one. Okay, so now it is creating a security rule. So it will get created quickly, and once that is done, right, it is showing it is created successfully. Right, good. Now we should be able to access it from the outside. So it shows that any to any. Let me refresh it. Okay, let me show, let me see if I can access it right now. Refresh, and 20.193.230.209 : 9090 port, and it should work. Are you able to access it, guys, from your machine? Please try out. You can access it. Fantastic. You try with this IP address if you are able to access. Yeah, it is coming up. Look at this. Welcome to Nginx. Yeah, I will give the IP address in the chat box so that you can use it, guys. Please try out. Yeah, please try out this one. You should be able to access it. Now you are accessing the content of the container which is hosted on the Azure virtual machine. One of the container is having a data and you are accessing it. Let me change the contents of it. How do I do that? Right? So let me change this contents. So this is my net 11. So I need to log in into that one and do that, right? Docker execute command -it net 11 and bash. Now inside the container, now go to the container user. I think this should be at user share local, user share nginx, then HTML, and let me put here echo. Hello friends, hope you are enjoying. Let's say this is the message I want to pass on the website inside this index.html. Can you just refresh this page, guys? Please refresh this page. Are you able to see it? Right. Every time I don't have to go to the container, right? So this is very simple. Look at this, guys. So let me create one more container which will have HTTPD. No need to reload it. And let me use here 8080 number port. But this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to map the volume. Let's say /data. Inside the container, it will create inside. It will map to the user share nginx /html. So every time now I don't have to go to the container to change the contents. So let me create a /data here. And now let me fire this command again. So just see this guy's command properly, what I'm doing here. I am using, this is called as a network 12 container. We are mapping, the host port is my 8080 and this is my container port is 80, as well as I am mapping the mount volume /data folder inside the user share nginx HTML. Okay, let me use nginx image then. And if I enter here, guys, it will start a new container. And you see here Docker PS. Now this container shows you here, it is pointing to 8080 to the 80. Okay, now can you refresh the page with the 8080 port, guys, on your machine, on your browser with port number 8080 and see what information you get. So let me go to the port here, 8080. It is showing 403 forbidden. The reason is that there is no data because we have mapped the host folder with this one. Now developer don't have to go inside the container. Developer has to put the code here only. So what developer will do? Developer will create an index.html or index.php file inside this location, and the business logic will be written inside this particular files index.html. So I'm just writing the data is coming from data volume from host. Let me put it inside the index.html. We can write a lot of code, guys. Here you are the developers, you might be understanding what I'm doing it here. Now refresh the page and you should get that data. The data is coming from data volume. So now if I have any website here, I can put it here and you will be able to access it. So now let me show you that I have one website running, just downloaded in my Windows box. It is developed by one of my student. So the pages are here. This is the pages. These are the images are there. A lot of pages are there. Now I want to take these pages I want to bring this particular website in the container. I want to upload my static website of hundreds of pages from the container. Guys, I'm showing you the live example. Just watch it carefully. This is one of the medical website, hospital website. One of student has developed that one. And with his consent, I am just putting it here. Just see here. So I need to upload the data, right? So how I can upload the data? So I'm opening a FileZilla here. FileZilla is a tool to upload the data from Windows machine to Linux machine. Okay. So IP address of my host is, let me pick up the IP address from this place. This is the IP address, guys. Yes, we can also use WinSCP, guys. Not an issue. Let me go to the home, virtual machine. And this is my virtual machine. This is my public IP address. I am picking up it, guys. And going to use SFTP here. :/ this IP address. Username is Docker and password is what I have set earlier. Okay, quick connect. Can you see I am here? And let me create one folder on the machine. Create directory. And the name of directory I'm using is a website. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to upload all the pages which are there in this of the website. Let me upload this. So it is getting uploaded. So on the server, it is getting on the uploaded in the website folder. I need to copy it to the data folder. So it is uploaded now. So now go to the server, cd/, I think inside the home directory it will be home/docker/website, and these are the all pages are there. Now I want to copy all these pages, cp-pr star to data folder. So can you see here, guys, in the data folder, all these pages has come. Now these pages are now inside the container. Do you agree with me or not? Now the pages which are there in the /data folder, they are actually mapped to the user share nginx HTML folder inside the container. Now if you try to refresh the page, are you able to see something else, guys, there? With which port number? We have using 8080 port.
8080.
Yeah, so it is 8080. And you see here, this is some hospital related website, guys. And this is coming from the container. This website is coming from the container, guys. This is very simple, right?
So the first question is, what is the default page it is trying to pick up? Because there are multiple HTML pages over there. Is it still going to index.html?
Yes, it will be index. It is index.html. Do you have any website? You can also launch, guys. Not an issue. But it is very simple. Anthony, I'm so sorry.
For example, my website doesn't have index.html. What will I do? Does it say fails?
No, that will see in the DockerFile. I'll show you that how to change it. Then there is a index.php. If you have index.php, yeah, it will fail. It will be failed for sure.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So this is the way we have to create a container and map the container with the ports and access the data from the container. So let me give this command to you guys.
Can we have questions now, or at least up to this?
One
Can
second,
you
just one
answer
second.
from chat, Ramesh?
Yes, I'm doing that one. I'm doing it. Just 1 second. I will definitely. Okay. So only questions related to port mapping, please ask me. No problem. Anybody has typed the questions in the chat box? Let me first of all see that one because I want to follow the protocol. Just 1 second. Yeah, cool. So yes. Thank you. So Abhiram is asking if port changes to 443, then yes, HTTPS will be required, right? We have to install the HTTPS modules. Okay, correct.
For that, certificate is also required, Ramesh, or only 443 is fine?
Yes, certificate will be required. Of course, that will be required. You can use local certificate. Anthony is asking if I'm not using Azure, how do I get my IP addresses from the Ubuntu? Okay, so you can use the IP address show command, Anthony. Okay, Suresh is asking if two containers are created using different bridges, say, and has same port number, says 80, how to map them? Yeah, same way you have to map it. :80 : whatever it may be.
Ramesh, can you show us how to open a network from VirtualBox to the outside world? Like the one you allowed that, right? The firewalls. On the Azure, you allowed the firewall, right?
Yes, I have allowed the firewall.
Can you show like how do we do on the VirtualBox?
Sure, I will show you that. Just give me 1 minute.
Thank
Suresh, you have asked the question, if two containers are created using different bridges, say 11, and has same port number, say how to map the host port and expose. So it is the same command that I will use. This command only, which I have used to create the container. Can you see this? Right, and then it will get mapped. Okay. All right, then Anirban is asking Ramesh, will the commands will be up? Yes, today without any fail, I will upload that one. I am putting in the chat box also. I agree that we are mapping ports, but since IPs are different for different containers, so how it will identify which IP? It is going on the port, but host port will be different. Container
Can
ports
you?
can be same.
Yeah, this is my question actually, Ramesh. Can you go to the that diagram?
Diagram.
Actually?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So now, the IP of these containers are different, right? What we are doing, we are mapping the host port to the container port, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, can you show me the command actually that we are using to map, right? There, this one. So because we are saying for this container, NAT12 container actually. Okay, map the port 8080 of host to the container 80 port, if I am not wrong, correct? Correct. And this is my pull this image, right? Deploy this image, nginx, correct? So I think because we are already saying that what is the name of the container, so automatically it understands what will be the IP of that container also.
No. It is not IP. No. It is not IP based communication.
Okay.
This is a host port and this is a container port. you cannot have a duplicate. You cannot use the same port from the host to map to the containers.
Okay.
So
So
this will be unique.
okay, so that means if I want to deploy another application net 13, then the host port and the container port will be different.
Container port can be same. Container port can be same. But I need to change this.
Then how it will know that on the same port the different container it has to pull that the data from?
No, this is from the host port.
Yeah, host port, and this is the container port. It now we are saying that now this is, so you are saying the host port should be different, container port can be same, right? That's what you are
That
saying.
is what I'm saying. Yeah, that is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
but here we got only one Docker instance, for example. But if we have multiple Docker instances, and for each Docker instances, if we have multiple containers with the same port numbers, how does that map then?
Okay.
For example, for your
Their
8080,
orchestration tool will come into the picture, right?
right, orchestration tool will come into the picture, which is Kubernetes.
Kubernetes.
Correct.
Now, here container name will play a role to identify like which
Yeah, that's
port
what
to
I'm
look,
saying.
because
There is something there is in the container name.
yeah, you are
No,
correct, because like
no, this is not
because
a
like
container.
no.
Please
If
try
you
to
go back, if you go back to the commands, okay,
yeah,
there you have both the containers are running on 8080, okay, and you are mapping it to the local port. I agree, like local port you cannot have the same, okay, but how do the local IP, means when you map it to know that okay which container port it should pick it up? That is based on the container name what you are using in the otherwise like there is no relation, because it can accidentally even go to the different containers and you will start seeing
No,
right.
no. Try to understand, guys. Wait.
Name is nothing to do with here. He's just mapping the port. Traffic comes under the port based. Name is nothing for the network.
That's what I'm saying. Name is nothing to do with it. It is like let us say traffic come into 8080. How does it know that the container it has to go to the container net 12 or net 13? How does it know unless it uses the name?
Pramod, can you just hold for some time?
Yeah, sure.
Can you allow me to speak? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So let me explain you this again. Just 1 second. I explained you one word. I don't know you remember it or not, but let me show you. This is port forwarding.
Okay.
What is a port forwarding concept? Port forwarding concept is nothing but it is a concept of firewall. There is a concept inside the Linux is called, or any firewall, that is called as IP tables. Right? Whatever the name you have of the container, it doesn't matter at all. While forwarding the traffic from while accessing the contents from one container from the outside world, because whenever you are typing in your browser, that is 10.10.0.1:1990, this traffic comes to the LAN card of this machine. The LAN card of this machine says that where is my port number? It shows that 9090. Okay, so it goes here because you have written here 9090. So it comes to the 9090 port of the LAN card of the host, and inside this host machine, the rule has been written while creating a container that whenever any traffic is coming on the port number 9090, please forward that to the 8080 port. That is the rule written, and this rule is written by using the IP tables. So if you have a confusion in this one, please do not get confused with whether it is name will help here or something else will help here. No, it is just IP tables are doing the job. And if you want to see, and if you are interested to learn the IP tables, I will show you the command that you should use. IP tables -L. This command will help you to show here. See here now. Can you do see here something called as this one? This is coming in the IP tables. This is a firewall basic rules. And this will help you to forward the traffic from anywhere to anywhere with the destination port called as HTTP. Okay, So there are a lot of things are there, guys. I have just shown you one command.
Can you go to
There
the
are,
diagram again?
yeah.
Okay. So when the request, you have done the mapping, like that 1990 will go to the this port 8080, right? But the another container can also have the same port, right?
But they will not. So host port will be different for them.
Okay.
This is 80 port. I cannot map the host port of the 80 host port to the another container. Containers port can be a same, but host port can't be same for that container.
Host port for container port.
Ramesh, yeah, I think let me put it. Can I put it in a
Ramesh,
different way?
sorry to disturb
Yeah.
everyone. Let me explain clearly. Okay, Ramesh, can you go to the terminal?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. Give an up arrow which is having a command which creates a container. Yeah. If you see 115, okay. First one is the host port.
Yeah.
Okay. Second one is the container port. Container port in the sense, after running this command, container is going to have that port. Okay. If you see the end of the command, there will be nginx. Nginx is nothing but an image. Okay.
Yeah.
Already we have written a Docker file. Inside the Docker file, we have provided the port number which requires for the container to execute. For example, here nginx. If you have the HTTPD Docker file, okay, for HTTPD also there will be 80 port. Okay, there will be a similar, but whatever you have given here, nginx is nothing but not a container name. It's an image name with version.
Okay.
Based on
So
this,
okay. Thank you.
No,
All right,
we're
understood.
not talking
Let
about.
me,
No, we're
yeah.
not talking about.
Just 1 second, guys. Don't get confused here, please.
Okay.
It is very simple. This is your host machine. There is one LAN card here. Okay, and if you have the multiple containers running here, this is container 1, container 2, container 3. You can have any application inside this one. This is your, let's say, nginx. This is your HTTPD. This is your, let's say, another application called as a Java. I'm just typing here for that purpose. Nginx image can work on the port number 80 or any other port. HTTPD can work on the 80 or any other port. Java can work on the 80 or any other port. I can have multiple images or containers running on the same port. Okay, but unless this will not be accessible from the outside, guys. Now to make access this one, what you need to do, you have to create a port. Say this is the host ports. These are these different host ports are there of the LAN card. So whenever I'm firing the command, look at this. So this is my host port. Okay, now I cannot have duplicate host port number. So let's say this is my 80. Then this can't be my 8080. This is not allowed. This is my 8081. This is my 8082. This is my 8083. Right? So now, whenever anybody is trying to access the contents, let's say this is IP addresses. I have written here already that it is IP address is something called as LAN card IP is 10.0.0.1. And now one of the person want to access it from the laptop. So the 10.0.0.1 colon, which port you want to access, let's say 8080. So when 8080 port it tries to access, then what it will do, the traffic will come to this particular port. Then it will go to the IP tables, which is running inside this machine. And IP table see that where it is mapped, it will say that it is on the this particular container, port number 80. Okay. So 8081 is not mapped to the port number 80.
Ramesh,
So
let me tell you one thing. So technically, when you're running that container, that Docker command, it has the underlying information on what is the IP address of that particular Docker is. and it will be mapping to the container of Nginx.
Right.
So when you are really mapping the host port to the container port, the Docker IP address is the one which is carrying all that information. Okay. In this Docker, I have this container which I need to map to the host port of 8080.
Right. Absolutely correct.
Right. So I think we are missing that particular piece, because when you look into the IP tables, it will clearly tell you like what is the IP address of the Docker. It is
So I think IP table is creating a major role actually in this.
Right. Yes. The IP address itself will route to the particular container and the port from the host
Right.
port.
Yes, is correctly. The rule will be written like this one. IP tables, this IP address colon 8080, forward this to the 172.7.0.2 colon 80. That is the way rule will be written.
Yeah. So basically, actually this like that mapping entry in the IP table is happening behind the scene. No, it is not part of this command, but as I said, this net30 name of the container is it is taking that IP from there, and in that IP mapping table it is happening actually.
All right, guys. I hope that, but I
Ramesh,
will not. Let's move ahead
Ramesh,
now.
can I put? Okay, let me say it in a different simple words. Okay, as we know, the Docker, because underlying OS creates a namespace, means it's provided its namespace which will allow Docker to have its own network, isn't it? So when you run this command, the Nginx, it all get like its own namespace with the IP address, page, and everything. So here we are not explicitly specifying the IP address, but because of that namespace, whatever the IP address was created was mapped to the local IT81. That's how it will get updated into the IP table. So we did specify explicitly, we were keep on focusing on net13 or something, but it doesn't matter like what image it is, because it is a process of Docker, which is like using the namespace and assigning those IPs and mapping internally back to the.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Thank you for the understanding, guys.
And the namespace and the IP address behind the scene is the one
Thank
which
you for
is
the understanding, guys. It is absolutely correct. Let's move ahead, guys. Now, I hope that it is clear for everyone now. Yeah.
Ramesh, just a question about the container. You are talking about Nginx and I think HTTPD. You know before that it's running on the port 80. Is there any command? For example, I want to take one image, but I don't know which port it's running on. I want to know this port. How can I know to map my host to this my host port to this Docker port?
Right. So ideally, how it happens, HM, that whenever somebody is creating the image, so in that image Docker file, they mention on which port number this application should run. Okay. So if you want to find out that, then what you can do, if you are created the container out of that image, then you can use the inspect command to find out on which port it is running. This is one way. So let's say that I don't know whether this is there or not, net 11, and you don't know on which port is running. So you can see here -i port. You can try to fetch this information. So it is showing the port bindings are showing host port is 9090, and this is basically right. But now,
but this is the host port. This is not the Docker port. For example, I want to take like Mongo DB or other MySQL DB, but I don't know by default which port is running on, and I want to run my to do a mapping in my host name, like what we do at 8081 80.
Understood. So basically, this information will be available when we create the image. So if I want to find out, I can go to the Docker Hub here.
So Ramesh, I think in the Docker file we have that port, right? So I think from there only we can find out which port by default.
But you talk about DockerFile. We didn't do anything about. We don't know what is DockerFile. That's why.
But image itself, it's when you try to create a container of that, it's a Docker file only we're calling.
I will show
Yeah,
you
but
that.
DockerFile is coming for the next session, I think, or I don't know what is DockerFile too.
Yes,
Sorry for
understood.
that.
Let me explain you this, guys. So this is my image which is available on the HTTPD. Let me click on this one. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Enter. I'm just searching the HTTPD image, and I don't know anything about this image, right? That is what your question is.
Ramesh, can we take an example of MySQL, please? Because that is what the gentleman asked.
Sure, I will do that. Now see here, in this particular official image of the Docker file, if you scroll down a little bit, you will be able to see something called as Docker file here, and it shows that, see, if you want to create a image out of this one, use right hand side port. This is 80 port. Okay, this is one thing. I think if they have given the Docker file here, you can see in that one, but this is the command they have shown. This is the one way. Let's say if somebody is not knowing anything about the MySQL and they want to find out the port, so search the MySQL image, go to this MySQL, scroll down, and they will be given that information that how to map this folder, map it. Probably there will be something called as ports. This is not that port should be mapped. So in this one, it is not given. It shows some, let me see it. Okay.
I think SQL Server will not be exposed to the outside world, right?
That should be part of the connect.b file.
It will be there. You can see if anybody wants to expose then. So basically, it is a standard ports, right, for the MySQL HM. If you are installing the MySQL or MariaDB on the any container or server, it use the port number 3306. But your question is that how to find out. So the question, question is this one. So let's say that I am in the container right now. Let's say this is my container, and I want to find out that. So let me go there and I show you. Let me show you that. Docker PS. This is a good question. Thank you for asking, Ijan. And let me go inside this Docker execute -it net13 and bash. So I'm inside this one. So how to find out the ports on which this service is running, which are the open ports are there, or on which my application is running? How do you find? Because that application is running inside the container. You don't know the, let's say, Docker file. You don't know how to search on the email, let's say portal, or from the command line also. But then you have to go inside that container and you have to fire the command netstat -tunlp, or maybe tunlp will help you. So this command is not there. Let me use apt update. Okay, apt install net-tools -y. Okay, and let me try this command. I'm inside the container netstat -tunlp, and you can see it shows that it is running on the port number 80. Okay, so here you can find out my application is running on the port number 80 inside the container.
Ramesh, can you,
do we
sorry,
need to run this that stats everything in the container? How about if we run at the host level?
So then,
Because
see, the
at the
question
host
was
level,
that
we'll have all that info, right? Why is it not picking up from there?
no, here it is available. Look at this in the port number 80, right? Or this will also help you, but I don't know this describe command. Inspect command will also help you to find out. Let me see what is the actual word there.
Ramesh, if you want, I can give the answer of this one. The port number is always mentioned in the image itself. If you go on a Docker Hub, the port is
No,
always mentioned for.
that is fine. That is fine. But how to search? That is the question. And I'm
No,
just
there
using,
is a mention. I can tell you there. If you go on hub.docker.com, if you go in a particular tag, and if you are using a particular tag, you need to click on that, and the YML file you will see, and the expose it will show you the what port it actually expose particular that image.
oh, 1 second, 1 second. Thank you for that. 1 second. I will also will be able to show you this way also. Just 1 second. Docker images, and this is my image.
I think we have this Docker FXA command, and then use script in addition to that.
Yeah, 1 second. Yes, and this is my image information, and inside that image, yeah, look at this. This is expose port 80. So this is the answer of question. Let me show you for the HTTPD. So this is my image. I'm using this image for launching the container. And now I want to see that what is the port running inside that. I can use command grep-ai exposed ports. This is what word I was trying to find out. No, it is not coming up. So I need to open it and I have to see that. Docker inspect this image and less. And here you see somewhere, this is expose port. Can you see 80 port? Let me download the MySQL image, Docker pull MySQL, and you want to find out which port is exposed. So once it is downloaded, you can inspect that. Okay, Docker inspect. This is the, which image is that? This one image, right? This is image ID and pipe less. I think it is not picking up the entire stuff. I need to give only 12 digits. But where is the 12 digit? Okay, guys, it's better. Docker
You need to create
images.
that image, right?
No, it is created already. Yeah, it is up to 5. I have to pick up to 5, 1 5. Okay, now Docker inspect image pipe less, and here you see the port number 3306.
Okay, nice, Ramesh. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question. Okay.
Ramesh, I have one question.
1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. If you don't mind, please just hold on. You please ask me the question, but just wait 1 minute. Let me see what if I have answered all the questions which are given in the chat box. So Vinay has asked that question. Okay. Sridhar, can we have multiple application within single container? For example, my website is using database. Can I have? Yes, Sridhar, you can do that. We can do that. We can host multiple applications. Can we do port mapping for existing container? Right. So then again, there is a problem. Then we have to modify the container. Then when you have modified containing Tharamai, then that means you need to either pause it, or if you pause the container, then only you'll be able to do that one. Otherwise, it is not typical. It is always better Tharamai to Thamarai, right? Yeah, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Okay, so so you can map the containers, but for existing container, it is not advisable. Okay. Ganendra Sinha is asking, in our example, container port is the port of application running in the container. Correct, Ganendra, you have understood correct. Yes, port mapping is the communication. You have asked the correct question, Anirban. Asus, after mapping of ports, also it will use the same Docker 0 and network tabs, right? Yes, correct. Absolutely correct. Can we do port mapping for the existing container? The same question again. You need to pause it and you need to modify it. It is better. You have to take care of while creating it. In the cluster environment, this is not required actually. Okay, that is Anthony, but we can try that. Mohammad Shafi is asking, from the diagram, the second container has port 8080. How do you access the container since it is 8080? I hope that I answered this question right, Mohammed. I hope that you got that one. Are you there? Yes. And Anthony, we have done this, right? Port mapping to existing containers. Thanks for bringing up the good question, Pramod. Okay, no problem. What happens if we disable IP tables? Oh, that is a good question actually. So then I think then Docker will have a problem, serious problem. It will not work then. Venkatesh, this is a problem because you need to
Ramesh, actually, in our organization, sometimes we ask the Linux admins to turn off the IP tables because due to some activities, we want them to turn off the firewall on the host level, like the IP tables on the Linux box.
Now, do you know that we don't have IP tables nowadays? We cannot stop it. We can mask them or we can unmask them. Okay, so they will be always there in the machine. Only firewall D, which is the advanced command or a high upper layer of that one, it is disabled. But the kernel level module is not disabled in the IP tables.
So in here in our case, so what happens if we turn off the IP tables? Like how would the communication be like?
How do you turn off the IP tables? Because then you need a some mechanism to forward the port traffic from one port to another port. If you are not going to use the IP table, if you are not going to use the IP tables, then it is going to fail.
Okay, so IP tables is must to be enabled, right?
Right. There is a filter table, NAT table, and mangle table. These are the three tables in the IP tables that need to be available. Otherwise, how will do the port forming? Then you need to create another routing mechanism inside it.
The data will not flow if IP table stops. The packets will not move from here to there.
Right. You have to create one more router which works on the port numbers. So that will be a little bit hectic thing. So ideally it will not work, in short, if you say. But what is your question that you are stopping firewall daemon, not IP tables, Venkatesh, in the organization? You see that one properly. Yeah. Sainath is asking to simply things that can we treat host LAN card as a server gateway and can we treat individual container as a server itself? Yeah, your understanding is correct. Correct that one, Sainath. But port mapping is very important. Yes, Chance, you are asking that the Mac VLAN networking does. Oh, right. Mac VLAN is something different type of the networking. I will get, if I get a time, I will definitely explain you on that as well. So Nilesh has given some information about this one. Please go to that link, guys, in case you want. You can go particular tag and check YML. Okay, thank you. It would be
This
great
is
to give
regarding.
the
Ramesh, this is regarding the question who asked how he come to know that which port the application is running particular image. So in the image itself, that information is they can check on the hub.docker.com itself before using the image.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. And Cloud has given a very good suggestion. Please guys try to, we have a very big team of almost 80 to 90 people. And if everybody starts speaking or explaining, then it will really becomes harder. And I don't like to scold on anybody. I never scold on anybody. So please accept the suggestion of the cloud, right? You have given a very good suggestion. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, thank you. All right, Nilesh. I think for expose keyword. Expose is there in the Kubernetes. Can we do port mapping for existing? That is the same question I can ask. Anthony, I will try to do this. I will try to answer your question. Okay, thank you. Yeah, man. Thank you very much. But the question was asked very nicely by the Thamarai Kanan, that how to track host ports if you run hundreds of containers. Very good question. So the question, that answer of that question is that you can use Docker PS, right? This is the command. And if you have exposed the ports, this will give you the information, right? And see, basically in the enterprise level organization, it is better to use Kubernetes if you have hundreds of containers. Otherwise, you'll go mad to manage the hundreds of containers, guys. Okay. I hope that I have explained you the answer of your question. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. So let's move ahead. So there was one question asked that can we launch our one image called as the MySQL image? Because before going to the Docker file, I would like to show you how we can map front-end container with the back-end container in the raw way, very raw way. Okay. So let me start, guys. MySQL. I want to launch MySQL instance now. But to launch the MySQL instance, what is required? You required environmental parameters. You required database name. You require port number on which it works, or maybe at least password. That need to be specified while creating the database image. So how do I do that one? So let's say that Docker run -it-d. I'm using the same standard every time so that you will not get confused. Once you follow the same standards and then you start moving the, somebody will say that why always using D, why you're using -t. That questions will come in your mind. But guys, try to follow the same one. And once you understood the one flow, then try to drop one command, remove the -t and see what happens. Remove the -i and then see what happens. Remove the t and then see what happens. That you need to practice. Okay. So name, I'm giving here net, let's say 21. And okay, now I want to create a MySQL image. So this is my image name, MySQL, but between that, I need to use something called as environmental parameters. So I can use -e option, MySQL underscore password underscore root. So I'm setting the password of root, let's say 123. The spelling is wrong. Then I want to specify one more environmental parameter, that is MySQL underscore database is equal to, let's say I want to create a database called as a K21. You can create a different user also, guys. Now, do you need to map the MySQL port here? No, because we don't access it, right? But if you want to expose it, you can expose that as well. Okay, now let me start the MySQL container. So let me give here DB1. So since I am not going to access it from the outside, so this will be normal communication from the host machine to the container by using the LAN card to the bridge to the tap, and then tap to the container. And even though if you are trying to access it from the outside, the communication will be same way, but only IP tables will come into picture because it is a port forwarding. Now, this is the container getting created, and see whether it is created or not. Docker PS. It shows it is failed. Look at this. There is no container which is running with the name called as a DB1. What could be the reason, guys? Why this is failed? And how to see failed containers? So let me just remove all the containers, guys, because it will confuse you.
You can use -a.
Yeah, I have removed everything now. Let me now again try this command. Okay, and now see Docker PS. It is not running. So it is in the background. It is in the exited stage.
You have to add a bash at the end.
No, it is not creating a container only. So that means
It's like we need to add user ID.
no, I have used the root, but I think that I have given the wrong environmental parameter somewhere. I feel like that. Might be this one is pass WD or okay. So let me change it.
You don't have K21 database out there. Probably you might need to use like.
I think this may be the issue. Now see. No, it is still not running. MySQL password underscore root.
Oh, first of all, you don't have K21.
No, I want to create it. I want to create it.
But I don't think you're creating.
Yeah. And it is possible. Yeah,
So
we
do
can
we have the
create.
permission to create?
Yes, yes. It will. I will show you that. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. Let me search the MySQL image here and see the environmental parameters. Yeah, it is the spelling is MySQL _ root _ password. This is correct. But I want to give the database name also. That is correct. MySQL _ root _ password. But how do I give the environmental parameters such as?
Didn't we use MySQL password _root, not root _ password?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
other way.
No, at the end, bash is required to run that.
No. Bash is not required. Bash is not required. I got it. What is the mistake I'm doing? It is root _ password. I was doing a different way. Okay, good. Now it will create it. Oh, already it is running. So let me delete it and create it again. And it should work now. Yes, it is working. Can you see? DB1 is started. So I can pass unless and until at least minimum one environmental parameter should be passed. Otherwise, we will not be able to create a MySQL database. What I need to do here? I want to access this. How do I access this? I need to go inside it. DB1 bash. Now I am inside the container. Now from here I can go to the database. So I have used the username as a root and password is 123 I have set up. Now see I am in the MySQL prompt inside the container. And you will be surprised to see the database also. I got a K21 database is created. And now I can use K21. And if I want to create a tables, I can create a table here. And if you use a proper front end, we'll be definitely access that one as well. So we'll be seeing that example with the DockerFile, guys. Don't worry about it. I will show you that how we can access front end container. I will put PHP inside that. In the backend container, I will put database inside that, and we'll connect them. 100%. Right? So this is the way we can launch the. Now here the problem is one issue is that here I will use Control P because sometime there is a possibility that guys, let me give this command properly to you. But there are certain wrong commands also there, so please make sure that you rectify it properly. So let me give this command to you. Yeah. Okay, so I got it. Now let's say that I have a container. What will be the IP address of this container Docker PS, right? And I want to find out the IP address of this container. How I can find out? We can use the inspect db1 pipe grep -i IP address. Now we can see this is a container IP address. And now if I launch one more container with the index.html page or PHP, okay, let's say that I'm creating a container docker run -it -d -name. This is a front end container. -v volume, I'm mapping the volume also /data colon inside, let's say user share /nginx /html, and inside that let's say that I want to use the port -p. Let's say I'm using a port number 8089 colon 80 and using a port image called as the nginx. Yeah, now it is created, right? So now I want to map this particular this is a front-end container, this is my back-end database container. Okay, right? And if I want to fetch the contents from this database, how do I do that? I need to go here /data. Okay, this is the website right now there. But now let me remove it everything from this place. And if I create a touch index.php file, right, and if I open this index.php file and write contents inside that, we can and put that particular database IP address connection string rather than that inside this index.php file, and then you can easily connect that one. I will show that in the next session because it will take some time, guys. So what we have done today is the something like that, how we can what is the Docker networking, right? Then we have seen that how to create a Docker custom bridge and how to create a network with custom bridge. Then assigning custom network to container. Then we have seen the port mapping, how to access application hosted inside container from outside. This is we have seen. Also we have hosted database container. Right. In the tomorrow's session, we'll see how to create a Docker file, and then we'll create a front-end container, and we'll create a backend container using Docker file, and I will show you that how it will fetch the data from public to the from the front end, from the backend. That will definitely show you. Somebody has some questions now. Let me. Yes, we can check the logs. Yes, of course we can check the logs. Docker logs. AP1. Yeah, no, you can use the command docker logs also to check it, or the logs are available inside the varlib docker logs. That is okay. Let me see if any other questions are there.
Ramesh, we suppose we have like two container. The first one is like a microservice, and the second one like a database. For example, the the application Java need to connect to this database in the second Docker. We open the host like you describe, and we bind the map in the port, but we need I need to map for my application Java in the Docker one, in the container one, how to map like how to do a mapping for the port number between the Docker one, the container one, and the container two who manage the database. I don't know if you understand my question.
Yes, I got it. Question, I got it. So basically, what you are saying that you have this is the container. This is the container one, which is having the application.
Java, Java application or
Java is there, and what you want to do here, there is a C2 container which is having a database.
Yeah, that's right.
And you want this one talk to this one on the port number, whatever it is specified. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
do we need some extra thing to write, or because I know that in Java application we can run describe a connection to this database and get all information. Do we need to do something else to communicate to the both container?
No, because this is in a local bridge. They are on the same bridge. Okay, and you will be able to access them on the IP address basis. You can do that. So let's say that I have a my basically, let me show you that one particular code. Actually, I just like this W3 school, guys, and there is one PHP code. This is my PHP code. Just quickly to answer your question, I'm just showing this to you. how you can connect it, how to write a database string or connection string rather than that. See here, MySQL select data, and here you see this is the server name you need to specify, or other than that you can replace with the IP address. This is the username of the database, the password, and the database name, and you can specify with this connection string. And if you have any other additional parameters, you can specify the port and everything in this one. Are you getting it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right. And where it has gone? 1 second. Yeah, here. So you need to specify the string details here. So what I will do, if my first container, I will put index.php file in my first container's location. Okay, and there I will make an entry of my database server. This is my IP address of the database, username, password, whatever the database name is there. If you are using a different ports, you can below this you can write the ports and everything. If your database is running on the different port altogether, then you can specify the ports here, port number here, and you can call that variable in this particular bracket connection string.
But I think the question is, we may not know the IP address in advance, isn't it, Ramesh? So because when we
but without IP address or DNS name, we will not be able to connect to the database backend, right?
Right. But when you are designing the application, I think the question is relates to how do we deploy. We don't know which IP address is going to connect, because when you start the container, so how to code it dynamically that it's not hard coded.
So it is important to use names rather than the IP addresses. Use the names. You can use the host name of the container. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So so even if your container gets changed, host name remains same. Let IP address get changed, no problem. Let any IP address come. But when you write a Docker file, in that Docker file you can easily in the Docker file you can specify the host name. So IP address, let any IP address comes, there is no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Ramesh?
Mm-hmm.
When you pull the HTML5 from your window machine to the Azure, what about in a situation where I have my own HTML file in my Ubuntu machine? How do I pull it? Because I saw it is quite different, so I don't know what procedure.
Yeah, it is same
How
way.
do I
Same.
do it?
Anthony,
Will it prompt me? Will it prompt me to fetch the file from my Ubuntu machine?
Let's say that I want to fetch the files now. On the home directory, there are certain files are there inside the Docker folder. Inside the website, there are certain files are there, and I want to pull up
But
one of them.
this is from the window. This is from the window machine, window operating system.
Right.
I'm talking about if I have it in my Ubuntu, not on Windows.
Oh, you want to copy the data from Ubuntu to Windows, right? That is what you're asking?
No, I want to copy the data from you have this one on your window. I'm working, for example, I have this file on my Ubuntu operating system, and I want to fetch it into the Azure.
But he wants to transfer from one Ubuntu instance to another.
Yeah,
do
this
SCP.
is no, this right side. 1 second, Anthony. The right side which you see here section. Now this is my Ubuntu machine.
Okay, what I mean is that if I have my HTML file in my Ubuntu machine, not on Windows, you are copying from Windows to Ubuntu.
Yeah, you need to do a FTP or
Ubuntu
SFTP.
and destination is also Ubuntu.
Right.
Yes. Now let's say that I want to copy these files. Let's say this is the file I want to download. Let's say I have a PNG file.
Ramesh, the question is how do you transfer files between two Ubuntu machines?
is also Ubuntu machine. So
Yeah, I
here
can.
the source is a Windows machine.
Okay. Right. Understood now. So then, if you are the two Linux machines, then you have to use the command scp command. What you can do here, Anthony, you can use scp -pr Then you can give the source file. Let's say you want to copy etc, or let's say inside the data folder you have something called as index.html file. You want to copy this file. Where you want to copy? You want to copy on some other server. So you can give root @ IP address of that machine colon the location where you want to copy that file. So this is my source and this is my destination. This is the way we can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has to be on the same network.
Yeah, this has to be on the same network, or it should be pingable from somewhere. Accessible. It can be public.
It should
IP
be
address.
accessible from publicly accessible. Any server, if it's publicly accessible, you can push the data. If not, you can't.
SCP or rsync you can use. There is another way also you can do, that is rsync. Rsync is a beautiful. Okay, that also
So
you can
Ramesh,
use.
question, like since like you have shown us like how to create a page where we can integrate with the SQL server, right? Means any of the server, backend server. So
Right.
my question is like, is it a job of a normal web developer, or it will be a job of a this?
Creating a Docker file is a job of the developer.
So which means, is it a Docker developer or a normal web? Because the command which you have shown is a PHP file, right? It's a normal, like if you are working on suppose a client server application, so there will be a developer who will be doing it. But like if you are talking in terms of a Docker world or a Kubernetes world, who will be doing this?
No, basically the person who understands the Docker and development, that person is called as a DevOps developer.
Yeah.
Right, and that guy has to do that job. If the person doesn't know the Docker, then that guy is a normal web developer. He will not be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah.
So means the file which you have shown to us, it will be like a file which we need to maybe might be a Docker file.
Yes. Tomorrow I'm going to show that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Vipasha, don't worry about that one. I think there are some bonus lectures are there on the Linux. I request you to please go and watch it. So these are the same commands we are going to use repetitively. Don't worry about it. Okay, so don't worry about it. But just have a see, now you are moving into the era of called as a DevOps era, where containers and Kubernetes are there. It is essential also to know the basics of the Linux. Try to understand that. Okay, but from the bonus sessions or the way you want to understand it, but try to do that one. That is the need of the hour, because this Kubernetes and this particular thing sits very nicely on the Linux boxes. Okay, people follow this on the Linux rather than the Windows. We want to go to the Kubernetes chance. We'll be doing it Kubernetes. Docker Swarm has some limitations. We'll be discussing in that lecture. Yeah. Surendra, so it will be talked to different hosts on Docker. Yes. Okay. Is there any specific question which I have not answered, guys?
Hey Ramesh, I've got a question. So if I can, I think if you have no other questions in the chat, if I can ask you now.
Yeah, that is what. 1 second, let me just go through the chat. GUI like, is it possible to connect to MySQL under container with GUI like Workbench? Yeah, install PHP MyAdmin in the container. You can do that. Cloud, you can do that. Yeah, where I can I find Docker logs? Yes, we can use Docker logs command. Yes, Nilesh, you can find. Okay, he has given the answer. Thank you, Venkatesh. Are all containers allowed to intercommunicate on the bridge? Yes, we can. You can communicate in the same bridge. All the containers can talk to each other if they are in the same bridge. Okay, I think container to container talk is not equal. No, if it is in the same bridge, then there is no need of any explicit configuration, Anand. But if it is on the different bridge, you need to have some other explicit rules set up. Is it possible to give a random IP or random DNS to a container? Yes, it is possible. Don't specify the name, hyphen name while creating a container. Don't specify the hyphen name. It will give you the random name and random IP also. Okay, so I think that you can do the same way like Azure, Sudhakara. You can do the same way like Azure, the installation upon your basic machine also. But if you want it, let us see that if we can create a VirtualBox session. Okay, fine. That is fine. I think I've answered the question. Surendra, yeah, that's perfect. Alagu is Docker is for one of the host, Kubernetes multiple host, right? Correct. Yes, it is only for one host, and that is the beauty of it. And then you can use for the Kubernetes. You can use a Docker Swarm and Kubernetes to manage them. Okay, I have answered the Vipasha. Thanks. Okay, guys. No, then it is not possible. That is, if you have two different bridges, then there is a problem. Surendra.
So if we have two different bridges, one is front end and back end is on another bridge, it cannot talk to each other.
Through this through the same phenomena of the Docker, it will not talk to each other.
So it need to be on only one bridge, the front end and back end.
Right, correct. And this issue is resolved in the Kubernetes. You don't have to worry about that one.
Oh, issue was resolved in Kubernetes. Awesome.
Yes.
So in that case, the application and the database on the same thing and the same host, it's going to be as an impact, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That has been solved.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Because that is a high availability issue. Container doesn't manage high availability for themselves. That's how orchestration is required.
Yep, got it.
Okay. Yes, we are going to define the multi-stage Docker file. Yes, we will be trying to do that, guys. We want to finish the Docker file tomorrow. Okay.
Ramesh, you say today. Ramesh, you say today, not tomorrow.
Right.
Ramesh,
Tomorrow.
you say that you can stay 2 hours more, huh? Ramesh, we are with you. Huh? No, I am joking. I'm joking.
No problem. I'm ready.
Ramesh.
I'm ready to explain. Yeah.
Ramesh, do you have any instruction for setting up VirtualBox?
Very simple. I'll tell you one thing, that you go to the Google, but I don't have right now written instruction. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm giving you this instruction. It is very simple. It is just you need to download the VirtualBox.
Okay.
Download VirtualBox for Windows, and you'll get a one link. Go here, right, and just download this. And once you download, double click on that particular binary file. It will install. And once it is installed, then you can create a new virtual machine inside that.
So then it will connect to the virtual machine. Then we can connect it to a virtual machine, right?
You can create it. So this is a virtual box, right? You see here. This is a virtual box, and you can use your file and create a new machine. Add machine. New machine.
What I will say, how to connect this tool actually to that? Can I connect to that virtual machine that I have created, or I can create how to? But ultimately, to create virtual machine on that Azure, right? Like a source group actually. How to connect to that actually?
No. If you want to access your Azure machine, you don't require this virtual box. What you require is a putty machine, putty ka tool.
Okay.
You have to install the putty on your Windows machine. Give the IP address here. That is what I have done here. See, this is I have given the IP address.
Ubuntu. Okay, IP address of that Ubuntu machine, Ubuntu virtual machine, right?
Yeah, and when you click on the open, it will ask you the username. Put the username and password, and you are there.
Okay, and then you can do whatever you want on that machine through this.
Correct. Absolutely correct. All right.
Ramesh, just a question. Hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
Not on this actually networking. I just was creating one of the application, and I wanted to use instead of bind mount, I wanted to use the volumes. Okay, but let's say that I create a volume, and by mistake or accidentally that volume gets deleted. Okay, but I want its backup to be done regularly, like after 2 days or every morning. I want that backup to be done. Is there any provision for that?
Scheduler job. You can use that one.
Okay. So it will create a replica of that, or how do I restore it back? It will come in the next chapter for us.
Yeah, we have. I have not shown you the how to take a backup of the volumes as such, but in the Kubernetes we have a how to define the jobs scheduler. That time I will show you how to set up. It is a Linux feature actually. In Windows you can do by using a batch feature batches batch script. In the Linux you can do it by using a cron tab job scheduler.
Okay,
All
but
right, guys.
if I take the
Yeah,
so
go
the
ahead.
backup will be created as an tar backup, or how it tar file, or what file it gets created?
You can create any file, guys, tar file or anything. You can restore it as a folder. You need to extract it. That's it.
Okay. Got it. Now I thought that is there any Docker based tool to schedule it automatically?
No, that is
instead of cron.
No, that is not there. But you can basically, because these are the folders, right? And if you want to take a backup of anything, you can take a backup of image. But if you want to take the backup of the volume, then you have to do it manually. But you can schedule the scheduler. You can write a script and you can do that.
Okay.
Tool, I will check if any tools are available. Docker standard tools. As of now, I'm not sure about it. Yeah.
Ramesh, before you go, just a quick question on the virtual box which I asked earlier. Like, how do you set up?
Today's session is over, guys. You can drop those who want to drop, no problem. Thank you very much for joining. Others can ask question. I can take the question for next 5 minutes more, not more than that. Yeah.
Ramesh, how to allow the network from virtual box, not from the Azure one? You did that Azure one, right? How you enable the firewall and everything, so that you can connect from outside. So I'm in the network tab, but I don't know what to actually need to allow that.
This you have to do the bridging.
Yeah, I'm using bridge adapter on my virtual box.
And allow all.
In the advanced, if I see there is an option which is saying denied. Do I need to allow that?
Yes, you have to allow all.
Okay, that's denied for me. So that's what I want to know. Like if I need to click on allow to allow all. Yeah.
Right. That is important.
Yep.
All right, friends. Good. I hope that you enjoyed the today's session. You got something out of it, guys.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys. All right.
Thank you. Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. So
Thanks, Ramesh.
we'll have more streamline again in the next.